In the town near my house, there used to be this old eerie abandoned school. It was a place where legends and rumors thrived. My curiosity finally got the best of me, and one day, a friend and I decided to explore it. The school was heavily boarded up, making entry a challenge. After some creative thinking, we managed to climb up the side of the building using a rusted pipe and slipped through a cracked window on the roof. Our adventure began in the basement, which was partially flooded, casting a creepy aura. It was unsettling to see stairs vanishing into the murky water. We carefully moved through the flooded area and made our way to the gymnasium. That's when things took a terrifying turn. As we left the gym, we heard unmistakable footsteps echoing from the far end of the gymnasium. It wasn't the rhythmic echoing of multiple explorers like us. It sounded like a solitary figure, walking cautiously, occasionally pausing. Panic set in as we realized those footsteps blocked our path to the roof, our only exit besides the boarded-up doors behind us. We waited, frozen, hoping the sound would cease, allowing us to slip by unnoticed. Eventually, the steps did stop, so we summoned our courage, silently crossing the gym. We peered down the dimly lit hallways, detecting no signs of life. Our focus shifted to the stairs that would lead us back to the roof. Halfway down the hall, a chilling sound pierced the silence. Someone was sprinting towards us from behind. The echoing footsteps were thunderous, sounding like they were merely meters away. Though the school was mostly dark, faint rays of light filtered through the gaps in the boarded windows. Still, we couldn't discern any figure pursuing us. Our hearts raced as we raced up the stairs, not daring to look back until we reached the safety of the fourth floor. We huddled at the window, listening carefully. Nothing. No more footsteps, no sign of pursuit. We couldn't explain what had just occurred, and our imaginations ran wild trying to piece it together. It remains the most spine-chilling experience of my life, an inexplicable encounter in the heart of that abandoned school. When I was 16, my best friend and I decided to explore the abandoned asylum near my house, a place with a reputation for being eerily quiet. As we roamed the grounds, we couldn't help but notice one particular tower that had always been dark and securely locked. But that day was different. We gazed up at the tower and were stunned to see a light on at the very top. To make things even more bizarre, we heard an unusual barking noise. At first, I thought it might be some distant dog walker, but no, the eerie barking was echoing from the tower itself. Nervously, we exchanged glances, wondering what on earth could be going on up there. Then the unexpected happened. A silhouette appeared in one of the tower's windows. It was a person, and they were the source of that strange barking noise. Fear gripped us, and without a second thought, we bolted, our footsteps pounding the ground as we raced away from the sinister tower. As we hurriedly retreated, the person in the tower called out to us, their voice taking on an eerie sing-song quality. By now, that spine-chilling encounter kept me far away from that place for several years. A friend once shared a hair-raising tale with us about their escapade into an abandoned, insane asylum. The place had a grim reputation, rumored to be haunted and filled with unsettling stories from the past. Undeterred by the ominous atmosphere, they decided to explore the decaying structure. The interior was in shambles, and the dirt and grime only added to the eerie ambience. They treaded carefully through the darkened hallways, each step echoing through the desolate building. As they ventured deeper into the asylum, they suddenly spotted a shadowy figure at the far end of the main hallway. The figure slowly turned around, revealing itself to be a person shrouded in darkness. Panic surged through their veins as this enigmatic individual started sprinting towards them, letting out blood-curdling screams. "Leave my house." It wasn't long before they realized it wasn't a ghost or some supernatural entity, but rather a disturbed homeless person who had found shelter within the abandoned asylum. The encounter left them shaken and reinforced the eerie reputation of that forsaken place. Last summer, I found myself about an hour north of Nashville, Tennessee, and being the season for breathtaking sunsets, I had my sights set on an abandoned factory I had spotted on the way to our hotel. Armed with my gear and a trusty flashlight, I parked my car down the street from the place and spotted a shattered glass door that seemed like my entry point. As soon as I slipped inside, it became apparent that the entire place was a shattered glass minefield, reminiscent of scenes from a post-apocalyptic movie, like something out of I Am Legend. Having experienced homelessness before, I understood that the shards of glass were strategically strewn across the floor to alert any potential intruders to the presence of an unwanted visitor. I carefully made my way through several rooms, eventually ascending a set of stairs in pursuit of the roof. The door at the top was partially open, and as I gingerly pushed it further, I noticed signs of habitation, a bed, and scattered McDonald's cups. It was evident that someone was living here. About halfway through the door's swing, a homeless man yanked it open and took a swing at me. Swiftly ducking, I held up my camera, desperately trying to convey that I was just a photographer on a quest to find the roof, harboring no ill intentions. Fortune smiled upon me that day because he bought my story and seemed okay with it. He guided me up to the rooftop and surprisingly offered me a complete tour of the factory. He shared its history, revealing that it had once been a slaughterhouse, sending shivers down my spine. He pointed out the perilous spots where the roof was weakened and the chilling blood pits, remnants of the building's gruesome past, which posed a genuine risk of drowning in pig's blood if one weren't careful. It turned out that this homeless man was incredibly kind, recounting how he was merely trying to get back on his feet after a challenging divorce. As a gesture of gratitude, I treated him to dinner the next evening, and in return, we shot fireworks from the rooftop, creating stunning photos. In a world that can sometimes be cold and unforgiving, this experience was a stark reminder of the unexpected connections we can forge, even in the most unusual and potentially dangerous situations. 3 of my buddies and I embarked on a daring adventure one eerie night. It was 3 a.m., and we decided to break into this ancient, supposedly haunted, 2-story house. The darkness outside added to the thrill as we approached the creaking, decrepit building. Once inside, we couldn't resist the urge to explore every nook and cranny. We stumbled upon an old, mysterious closet tucked away in a corner. What we uncovered inside was nothing short of astonishing. A stash of vintage Playboy magazines, a bong, a vibrator, and an intriguing letter. The letter began with a hearty congratulation to whoever dared to venture into this supposedly haunted haven. It humorously pointed out that, contrary to popular belief, the house wasn't haunted at all. Instead, it had become a source of amusement for generations in the town, enticing them to break in, experience some mystery, and feel the rush of adrenaline. The letter's authors asked for a small favor in return. They requested that we leave behind a token, a representation of our presence, in the house. They implored us not to damage the property and, as we departed, to make sure we closed the door securely behind us. Moreover, they encouraged us to perpetuate the myth by sharing stories of our encounter, adding another layer of intrigue for future generations to savor. As we left that mysterious house, we couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and gratitude for the unexpected adventure and the enigmatic souls who had carefully crafted this thrilling experience for those willing to take the plunge into the unknown.